You've just got to keep positive, be disciplined, put the work in the gym. You've got to get your body right because you have been out a long time. And I'm back in England because Rice in midfield, Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, the best striker in the world, Saka, Palmer, for beginners who want to start their investing journey. Now's the time. Be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful.
Hi Kelvin, it's good to have you back again. How are things?
Not too bad. It's good to be back. We're back in again, Dennis.
Yeah.
Lots of positive feedbacks, which is good.
Yeah.
In terms of the content, the topics that we're talking about. People are interested more in the football side of things, which is always interesting. I always have to tap into my football side of things. But not too bad. How are things with you?
Yeah, it's all right. Recovery's going well.
Good.
I'm just itching to be back on the pitch, really. So hopefully, when the time's right, I should be able to kick on.
And that's all you want. I always tell you, don't put pressure on yourself. Take it easy. Don't rush. Do things in your own time and trust in God. As I always say to you, believe in yourself. Never stop believing in yourself. You're getting tired of me the amount of times I keep telling you that. But that's all you can do at this stage. You've been really, really unlucky, but you've just got to keep positive, be disciplined, put the work in the gym. Got to get your body right because you have been out a long time. Believe in God and stay positive. That's all I say to you. It's good. What have we got? What have we got in the works today? In the world of football, in the world of investing, what have we got?
We've got a bit of both today.
A bit of both?
Before we get into the investing side, I want to touch on some football things that have been going on this week because it's been an interesting week of football. Yes,
well, don't want to start with Ghana. Bloody hell. Don't want to start with Ghana.
Not a great result at all.
No, it's not. 5-1 defeat to Austria.
Yeah.
I'm not optimistic with us going into the World Cup because I just feel it's a different side. The side that we've currently got. We've got on paper it looks a good squad. On paper, with the starting 11, we've got Kudus, we've got Semenyo, we've got Jordan. Ayew, we've got the Williams brothers.
Yeah, if they're all available, then yeah.
We've got one of the older one. He's a very good player. We've got Partey in midfield as well. For me, fantastic midfield. I absolutely love Partey. Top, world class, Thomas Partey. Semenyo's he's world class for me as well. And Jordan Ayew, good striker. I think his brother should be on that flight to America. I think his brother, Dede Ayew, I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but he's still playing. He's playing, I think, at NAC Breda in I may be wrong. He's playing in the Eredivisie in the Netherlands. And for me, his wealth of experience will make a huge difference in the squad. You need someone like that in a team going into a competition like the World Cup. And you see it with England, where they've got Jordan Henderson in the squad, and people may question that. With his experience, a lot of the younger players, they look up to him. And if we sort of relate that to Andre Ayew, I think with his experience, a lot of the players will look up to him. He's not somebody that I'm going to be expecting to be playing each and every game, but I think his presence alone will make a difference for us. I know that there are differences of opinions in terms of the nation. Some people want him in the squad, some people don't want him in the squad, but he's playing, and the Eredivisie is a high level, and he's doing really well there. For me, he's 35, 36. He's still a good player. I think he should be in a squad. The manager, Otto Addo, I don't really know much about him. He's obviously, grafted a win to get us to the World Cup, and credit to him. I don't want to sit here and sort of bash him too much, but I think that result against Austria, it just wasn't good enough. It wasn't 5. It wasn't good enough. Yes, we had players missing, but it's not. The performance alone wasn't good enough, and something's got to change. And for me, we've got to get a lot more of the ex-players in and around the squad. Asamoah Gyan, Michael Essien, John Pencil, Suleiman Muntari, John Mensah. We've got to get, for me, if we're going to, I'm not expecting us to get to quarterfinals like we did, years back. But if we really want to sort of make our mark in the tournament, I think we need to get the ex-players in and amongst the lads and also, get Andre Ayew in that squad. Get him in there. I wholeheartedly believe that he will make a difference. His experience alone will make a difference. He may not be playing, as I said, I'm not expecting him to play week in, every game, but just the experience alone will help us. But so far it's not looking good. Something's got to change. I don't know what Otto Addo is, back to the drawing board, whatever it is that he needs to do. But if we're looking at what is expected, I'm not optimistic at all. And until certain decisions are made, people are asking for him to step down. No, that's absolutely ridiculous. He's done a good job to get us into the World Cup, and I think he, to give him the chance at least to complete it. But get the experienced boys in and around the team, get the ex players in and around it. Stephen Appiah, get them in there. Let's get behind them. But hopefully they can rectify that. They can, be a little bit better in the next games. Hopefully, the performance is a little bit better. Yeah. But yeah,
So with the likes of France, Spain, England, who do you think will actually win the World Cup?
We had this conversation. We watched the France-Brazil game, you and I. And for me, great game to watch, great bit of football to watch. And France they're looking so strong.
Yeah. Their attack is dangerous.
The squad depth that they've got in the team, they're from keeper to their striker, bench players are not even making their team their different, country, in terms of the players that they're dealing with at the moment. Bags of talent. Dembele, Mbappe, Olise, who's now, he's Olise, if you asked me a few years ago before he went to Bayern Munich, I'd say Olise was a top player. But now he's cementing his place into the world-class category.
100%.
He's improved, and, he's a threat going forward. And his game has improved massively as well. In midfield, who have they got? For me, the France and Brazil game, the game was won in that midfield. And I'm going to be a little bit biased here because Brazil, I'm not too confident about them going into this World Cup. I think their midfield is not as strong as, France, Spain, England, Germany. When we watched that game, what did I keep saying? I kept saying you can't win this game with Casemiro in midfield. That's not a dig at Casemiro, but at 35 or pushing to 36, his legs are not quite the same. And I felt at the time watching the game that he wasn't really doing it for me in that midfield. He was the guy in midfield. What's his name? The French midfielder. I forgot his name. Rabiot. Oh, fantastic. He absolutely bossed it in midfield. Loved the performance from him in midfield against, France versus Brazil. So Kante coming into midfield. Chiamani, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, by the way. But France have just got, talent. France are obviously tipped to win the World Cup. I'm going to be a bit more... I'm going for England. Hear me out, Dennis. I'm going for England because Thomas Tuchel is one of the best managers in the world for me. He's one of the best managers. Not that I'm a Chelsea fan, but he's one of the best managers for me purely based on his approach to games. International games are perfectly set up for him. The reason I'm saying that is he's happy. He'll nick games 1-0, 2-0, 0-0, 1-0, win on penalties. Defensively, very solid. And I'm backing England because Rice in midfield, Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, the best striker in the world, Saka, Palmer. I haven't quite mapped out, my starting 11 for England, but I think when it comes to it, where, let's say, for example, it's England versus France in a final, England will win 1-0 for me, based on just how Tuchel sets up counter-attacking defensively first. I think England's midfield with Rice, Bellingham and Jordan Henderson even coming in there maybe later parts to see the game out, I think England will win the World Cup.
So even with their defensive structure, the players that they have on that back line, you think they'll be able to keep a clean sheet against France?
I believe they will. They've got Gay, top defender. They've got Harry Maguire, good defender. You can say whatever you want about Maguire. People can have their opinion about Maguire. Personally, I think Maguire's a good defender. With the right sort of with the right discipline, with the right players in and around him, Maguire's the top. You know, United just wouldn't fork out £80 million to. So for me, that they're okay at the back. Look at France. Who has France got in their defence?
Oh, they've got Saliba, Konate, they've got Hernandez at left back.
Saliba's obviously one of the top defenders in the world, one of the
Gusto
best defenders in the world.
back.
Okay.
Yeah, they've got a solid back four as well.
They do. But I just think if it came to England versus France in the World Cup final 2026, England would nick the game 1-0. I believe that. I think England, and that's going to be down to Thomas Tuchel. I think Tuchel's going to bring it home. Tuchel's going to bring it home.
Well, we hope so.
I believe that. Yeah, I believe they will.
We hope so. So let's get into the investing.
On the investing side of things, the stock market is going crazy at the moment. Obviously, with the tensions between the United States and Iran, obviously it's affected fuel prices. You know, times are hard at the moment. Energy prices also through the roof at the minute. So what do we have?
All of those things happening.
Yes.
The market dropping and fuel prices increasing. What does this actually mean for somebody who's just getting started with investing?
It's a great opportunity for beginners who want to start their investing journey. Now's the time. It's all great when the market's at all-time highs, you know, when the S&P's all-time high and the NASDAQ is all-time high. And, you know, it's great to look at your portfolio when your portfolio is in a positive, when your portfolio is greens, when the returns is great. But for a beginner or a young investor, even such as yourself, Dennis, you want to take advantage of market drops. You don't want to buy shares, or you don't want to buy, you know, if you're somebody who prefers individual stocks, you don't want to be buying when the share prices are high. No. You want to buy when they're cheaper. You want to buy when they've dropped. Now, this comes down to education as well, and also with the sort of, you know, ethos of the channel, and the aim of the channel is to whilst we talk about football, obviously with my past and also with you being a current footballer, we want to sort of merge the two by using football as a way to make investing less complicated. And, you know, I'll touch on that for beginners, you know, tune in, subscribe to Frugal first, subscribe to the channel, because we make investing less complicated. You know, we'll give you the blueprint, we'll educate you. And, you know, in times like this, when people were panicking, investors are potentially selling. I had somebody ask me, you know, if I were to start investing, and for example, if I were to invest, say, for example, £20,000, and now the market is down like -3%, you know, my capital will be down. And I said, well, are you a long-term investor or are you a short-term investor? Because you want to be in the market for as long as possible. And what's important is when the market drops, you know, given geopolitical tensions, you know, certain things are currently going on in the world events, you know, war and all these things. These are great times for you to not be reserved or not to be afraid. You know, Warren Buffett said it best, that, you know, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. Take advantage of market drops and have a long-term horizon. Think long-term, be disciplined. Just because the market has dropped doesn't mean that the market is going to stay like this. No, what we learned in some of the videos that we've done is that, you know, economic downturns are short-lived. When we look at history, will tell us that market drops are short-lived. We had in 2000, the dot-com bubble, the market was down. In 2008, in the financial crisis, the market was down. In COVID 2020, the market was down. But just a few months ago, we were celebrating all-time highs. So what history tells us is that, you know, economic behaviors, or, you know, based on whatever tensions, whatever's affecting the market, when it drops, it's all short-lived. Stay long-term in the market. And when the market drops, take advantage of it. When you're buying shares or when you're investing in the market and it's down like this, you're investing at a cheap price. Think long term, block out all the noise. And there's a lot of noise going on at the moment. There's a lot of noise, you know, people are sending me messages, I'm receiving emails, receiving phone calls, Kelvin, my portfolio, I'm saying, keep investing. If you've got extra cash, buy more. Think long term, whatever your strategy is. Obviously, this is not financial advice. I've got to make that disclaimer. This is all based on my experience as a long-term investor in achieving a six-figure portfolio. That's what's helped me in my journey. You know, educating myself about the stock markets, reading books by, you know, Warren Buffett, all these great investing books, The Millionaire Next Door, The Stoic Path to Wealth. I keep repeating these same books every week. We do a show because they helped me massively in achieving a six-figure portfolio. And, with everything that's going on in the world, I don't panic. I've got, whenever I receive income, the first thing I do, I prioritize. After my bills are paid, the first thing I do is I prioritize investing in my stocks and shares ISA. And I think long-term. So, have a long-term horizon, stay calm, don't panic, take advantage of market drops, and keep investing. Just, keep going.
Yeah. People have taken that on board to not be worried and always keep investing and just block out the noise, really.
We'll take your investing journey as an example, Dennis. When you started when you were 16, I mean, now you look at your portfolio, how does that make you feel when you look at your portfolio? When you look at, now I don't even need to remind you, Dennis, have you invested?
Nah, you don't, to be fair.
You do it and you block out, it's become a routine for you.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're fortunate enough, not to toot my own horn or anything, but you've got me constantly educating you about the market and not to panic, and you've got your strategy that you use, which is, you keep it simple, you invest in low cost index funds. But equally, if you're somebody, if you've got the skill set or the knowledge to invest in individual companies, think long term. That's all you've got to do. But when markets drops, it's a great opportunity for beginners. It's a great opportunity for beginners to take advantage of it. And, because as easy as I can explain it, you're buying at a cheap price.
Yeah.
You're investing at a cheap price. You don't want to be buying when the market's all-time highs. You don't want to. Now is the best time. But equally, if the market's at all-time highs, you just want to be consistent. You want, dollar cost averaging on your side. You want to be investing regularly, and you just want to think long term. Yeah. Obviously, have your exit strategy, have your number. For me, I have my target number of the amount that I want to reach by the time I sort of, re-strategize, and I think other strategies such as maybe go in for bonds or, different strategies, but I'm not there yet. So for me, for now, it's just about whenever I receive income, first thing, I invest in my stocks and shares ISA, and I think long term, and I block out the noise,
I think that's a good place to wrap it up for today.
Are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
Already? You keep cutting these questions short, Dennis. What else have we got? I'm sure we had something else on. Another thing that I'd like to clarify, I had a lot of people also get in touch where, they'll say, oh, Kelvin, my portfolio's down, I've lost this amount. Now, I've got to clarify that, if you're a beginner, that, there's something called realized and unrealized gains. So, for example, if your portfolio is down a certain amount, that doesn't mean you've lost that. It just means that it's on unrealized gains. On paper, it looks like you've lost it, but unless you sell, you haven't lost any money. You've just got to be patient. You've got to be patient, because when the market picks back up, you'll see the gains. So I just had to put that because I was getting that quite a lot. A lot of people were asking, oh, my portfolio's down, what does that mean? And unless you sell, you haven't lost any money. So it's just unrealized gains and realized gains. You can Google the difference, obviously understand it for yourself. As I always say, invest, think long term, and you'll be fine. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kelvin, for your time.
No worries, Dennis. Good man. Are you sure we don't have anything? So we've absolutely covered everything.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's us done. Massive thank you to all of our supporters, all of our subscribers, for supporting us, for tuning in. We are growing, and I didn't anticipate this setting up the channel, and I'd like to, say a big thank you to everybody. If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe and share, and if there is any topic that you'd like us to cover, anything, please do put it in the comment section. Anything that you don't understand about investing, or you want to understand, or even if you want to understand about the stock market investing, you want to understand long-term investing in the market, do get in touch with us. Put a comment or send us an email, send us a DM, and we'll do our best to get back to you. Thank you guys so much for your support. We really appreciate it. Thank you.